All right, what's up, guys? So today I'm just going to talk to you about why I decided to choose occupational therapy instead of physical therapy. So, and I'm just going to talk to you about this like starting out and just kind of my current thoughts now. So before I became an OT, I just wanted to get into the medical field as quickly as possible and just be able to get a decent paying job. And so I was looking at physician assistant, doctor, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. And I found that physical therapy and occupational therapy were really similar, but OT was like kind of the quickest way to get in. And at the time, I found a school that was just like a 2 year program. There were some 3 year programs that I looked at, but and it was just for me, it was actually just a little bit easier to get into OT school with the prerequisite courses that I already had. So I felt like I was already kind of set in this position to go ahead and just start a degree in OT because I had my bachelor's degree. So it was just a lot more convenient for me to just get in the field. And then I saw that the pay was similar. That was another thing that I just felt like it wasn't a huge difference. And then also, I felt like OT just appealed to me more. I had a background in international cultural studies, and it just resonated more with my background because I was looking at OTs that were doing refugee resettlement, and that was like a huge interest of mine, even though I haven't ever even done that as an OT. After I became an OT, I still actually kind of feel like I'm glad that I chose this route because the jobs are really, really similar. So if you think about it, like PT and OT, we both work in the same fields. Like we'll work in hand therapy, we'll work in acute rehab, we work in like acute care, skilled nursing facility. Like most of these jobs are pretty similar. Now there is a huge difference, and I feel like the huge con of being an OT is probably just respect. Like a lot of people don't know what OT is, and they may not respect the field. Whereas PT, a lot of people will just respect the field a lot more because it's physical therapy. Everyone knows what it is, and I feel like physical therapists in general are going to get a lot more respect from the doctors, the patients, and just the whole like career as a whole. So I feel like in that aspect, like if you're looking for a field that's respectable, and I don't know if you're looking to get like more positive attention, like I feel like physical therapy is the way to go. Whereas a lot of people just don't know what OT is. So that's one of the major cons of the field. But I just like the whole idea of OT in general, just like helping people live more meaningful lives and using like holistic interventions to be able to get to that place. Now, another similar thing with PT and OT is just like if you think about it, the majority of our day in most facilities, and I'm talking about like skilled nursing, acute care, hand therapy, most of our day is just spent documenting. So it doesn't matter, like, you can do speech therapy, OT, PT, become a physician. Like, most of your day is just spent documenting. So that's just like one similarity to take in account. And another thing is just a lot of your time spent with patients is just doing similar things as what PT would be doing anyway. So on my typical day, I'm getting patients out of bed, I'm working on transfers, functional mobility is everything that OT does because pretty much every single ADL that we're working on is geared to functional mobility. So if I am walking a patient to the shower or just having them brush their teeth at the sink, like I'm working on functional mobility. And so in a lot of ways, it's just really similar to what I would be doing as like a physical therapist. Now I know it's not like this in every setting. In like acute care, I probably would work on fine motor and more cognitive interventions and maybe more upper body strengthening or range of motion, whereas physical therapy is definitely going to focus more on the lower extremities. Like it's definitely like different in some ways, but I feel like it's really similar in most ways because we're working on those same huge muscle groups, and we're working on the same focus, which is just rehabbing these patients. So in a lot of ways, it's just really similar, and I feel like whether you choose PT or OT, it's not like I don't know. To me, it's not like there's not like a huge difference, but as a physical therapist, I feel like you're going to get a lot more respect from like, the people around you just because of the field and how well known it is. And then another thing, if you want to get in like a specialized field, like maybe you just want to do hand therapy, as a PT or OT, you can do that and you're pretty much doing the same job. A lot of people will just say, "Well, I want to work in like an outpatient field for physical therapy," and that's fine. But I feel like there's a lot of physical therapists that just don't like the field of outpatient physical therapy. Usually, the benefits aren't as good. The pay is usually not as good. So it's not really the most lucrative job to get as a physical therapist. And the thing is, a lot of OTs don't work in outpatient, but they totally could. And I feel like there's just a lot of OTs that are just not like pushing themselves to work in a field in that direction where they really could like there's OTs that definitely could work in sports medicine, but I feel like physical therapy has just kind of dominated that field and we're not in it, but that's definitely a field that OT definitely could go towards. So if you're like thinking about OT, but you really want to, you like that physical therapy is working with these patients that have like sports injuries or in sports medicine, or maybe just they're working in these outpatient clinics and you're more interested in that, like you definitely can do that as an OT. I feel like you have to just try to push yourselves to get in that field. It's not easy because you're kind of resisting the norm, but it can be done. And so in general, I feel like as an OT, you pretty much can work in any field that PT is working in. You can work in hands, you can work in ergonomics, you can do outpatient, you can work in skilled nursing facilities, acute care, rehab. There's so many fields that you can work in as an OT, and then there's all these other fields that you can work in that PT is not even in, and that could be like low vision, that could be driver rehab. There's just so many new fields, and even new fields that people haven't even thought of that OT could be working in. So I hope you like this video. Definitely like, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts, like what fields do you think OT should be working in that they're not working in right now, and definitely like give your comment on like why you decided to be an OT or why you're deciding on that path. And I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.